It's December 19th, 2023, and this is FLOSSTUBE 25. Caught me looking at my notes. I'm Karen Combs. This is my FLOSSTUBE video. I also have some videos for quilting and quilting tips, but this is our FLOSSTUBE, and it's been 3 weeks since I was with you. Well, almost. I think I was Wednesday the last time, and this is Tuesday. So about 3 weeks. And I was thinking yesterday, I don't have that much to show. And then all of a sudden I'm pulling things out and I thought, this could be a long one. So we'll see. And I have some coffee and I have some stuff to drink. So I'm all set, and the dog's been out. I know last time Benji was crying to go out, which is really unusual for him, but he's sleeping. So we're good. So let's get started. First of all, I want to thank you for all your lovely comments last time. Those of you that subscribed, those of you that gave, a thumbs up or a like to the video. I appreciate it so much, and it just means a lot. So thank you very much. We had some questions that I'm going to cover. I'm just looking at my notes here. So one of the questions, which I thought was interesting, and it caused me to do some research, which I'll link to one of the articles that I looked up. But Linda asked a question about my opinion on using beeswax on the cotton thread. And I responded, first of all, that's a personal choice. Many people don't use it. Many people do use it. The only thing that I could find as far as, I don't even know if negative is the right word, but a con versus a pro. Let me tell you the pros. When you're using thread, sometimes if it's tangled or not behaving correctly, that little bit of beeswax on there will help. And let me back up here, because this is my paper piecing Yazzie bag, and let me just pull this out because I have all kinds of things in here. This is one of the things that I'm doing with paper piecing, which is all hand done. But whenever I'm doing paper piecing, and you see these are done with papers. Do I have any papers? This is a bigger piece. There's papers, and then you put it together. And so this is one that I'm working on. And then this other one, this is one of the La Paz. But sometimes when we're using our thread in paper piecing, it helps to use something to give the thread a little body. So what we use in quilting, or what I found that works really well, is a silicone. It comes in a little cube. This is Thread Magic, which I don't think they make anymore. No, this is Thread Heaven. Now there's Thread Magic, which is similar. So it came in a little cube, and you can see it's just a little silicone, and you just run the thread through it. And it gave it a little body. It also helps if you're using metallic threads. So this is what we used in quilting. But I'm not sure I would use it in cross stitch instead, and I just pulled one of my waxers. This is just a little beeswax waxer, and they come in a lot of cute little designs. You can use a little bit of that beeswax, just run it right against the waxer to give it just a little coating. Now, a couple of warnings. If it's an old beeswax waxer that's crumbly, don't use it. It'll be too thick on the thread, and then it could, going through the holes, it could just cause a problem. But the other con that I saw, reading several things about it, is, I think this was in the Royal School of Needlework, I don't know, I read several articles, it could discolor over time, the thread, could. That was the only negative that I found, other than you don't want to use one that's crumbly, that, could be too thick on your thread. The plus is, especially on a thread that's not behaving, or it was mentioned that the beeswax is wonderful to use on metallic threads, that's a positive. And Linda mentioned she noticed that her stitches pumped up a little better, just looked better. And from what I told her, the only negative I saw was it could discolor over time, but that's a possible. So I say it's a personal decision. If you enjoy using it, you see a benefit using it, do. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. But I'm going to link to the article I read that had a lot of good information about the silicone. Where did I put that? I've already lost it. All right, the little thing I just held up, which is now in this bag that's just got all kinds of stuff in it. Anyway, I'll link that article. So that was an excellent question, Linda. Thank you for that. I think anytime we're asked a question and we research, we always learn. So I appreciated that. And then I had several people mention that they use the Pigma pen or some kind of permanent pen to write on their selvage, not only the stitch count, which we talked about last video, but also the maker, the color. So and even if it was a big size, they'll write in the selvage, if they've cut from it, what size they cut. So I just thought that was excellent information there as well. So I'm starting to do that with some of my linen, pulling it out and writing the count in the selvage. I did have a question, or not a question, but just a comment about using the friction pens. I don't even own one. And I'll tell you why, and I'm going to use it in conjunction with quilting. I haven't researched it enough for cross stitch, but I think they're called friction. Anyway, you know, the pens that you can touch on the fabric and then it disappears. There's several kinds. There's one that disappears with heat. There's one that disappears with water. When they came on the market, oh, it's probably been at least 10 or 15 years ago now, as a quilter, especially as a quilt instructor, we had a lot of questions about that. So several of us did some research about it. And again, I'm going to say this is personal choice, but these are the reasons I don't use it. When you touch the fabric, of course, it makes a mark and it disappears with heat. The problem in my mind is that it's a chemical that still is in the fabric. And we're talking about quilting fabric. It's still in the fabric, even though it's disappeared. And one thing that we found is if quilts were marked with it, especially for quilting lines, and I know this happened more than once, the quilt was shipped to a show where it was cold and the lines came back. Now they disappeared when it got warm again, but they were still there. My concern, especially for an heirloom quilt, that sometimes quilts can take years to make, especially if it's applique. If that chemical is in the fabric, what's it going to do over time? We don't know because they're too new. That's my only concern. They're extremely handy because you can mark it and it disappears with steam or heat or water. And I guess in my mind, what is the purpose of the quilt that you're making? Do you want it to last for generations, passed down through your family? If that's the case, then I would just use, well, what we usually used is a fine point lead pencil, very fine point, or a fine point chalk pencil. That's what I always use because it can, chalk was my favorite because it just can be brushed away. But that is personal choice. I know a lot of people use them. That's my only hesitancy, is what is it going to do to the fiber years from now? And especially if you're doing an heirloom piece that you want to pass down, it's something to consider. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But that's the reason I don't even own one. And in class, I would mention that, but let everyone make their own decision. You know, sometimes when we're quilting, we're making a quilt and we know it's going to be used up. It's a quick quilt to make. We're making it for people that are going to use it, and that's what it's for. Other times we make quilts that we want to pass down. So something to think about. So those are the comments that I wanted to address. Check my notes. I've got piles here. So let's just start. I did, which I'm glad I keep this book of days because I worked on all kinds of stuff. I was all over the place. So this is just what I'm doing for December. And let me just check. So when we talked, I'll show you what I worked on, then I'll show you all the other stuff. Because I was just, what is it that Laura from Brenda and the Cereal Starter say? Laura says she was flossing about. I was kind of flopping back and forth. But one thing I did do is in my new book of days, I wrote down in order of when they were started all of my whips. And there's one page, and oh look, a start of another page. But that way I know when I started them, which is helpful for me. Sometimes I get lured into something new, and occasionally I'll go back to this list and go, you know, that one's been a while. I should pull that one out. So I did get that listed. And what I worked on, I had these in order. Well, I'll show you what I worked on just in the last couple of days, and then we'll go back to what I worked on before that. But I do want to say I had someone send me something, and I just want to say thank you. It was extremely helpful. And they wish to remain anonymous, so I'm going to respect that and say no more and not say what they sent. And I know, I hate that when people do that to me. Oh, I'd tell you, but I can't. No, but because they sent me something that really was helpful. Thank you. I want to acknowledge that. Thank you. So what I was working on in the last couple of days is my Dorcas Haynes, and of course everything's falling now. Hold on. I need to move my pens. That is one thing. Whenever you have a pen that... we did this with quilting too. Whenever there was a pen on the table, put the cap on, and actually I would put it away because it's so easy for that ink to get transferred, even if you don't mean to. So I pulled out Dorcas Hayes. I put it away for a little bit. I think I worked on it about right before our last video. But it is such a beautiful, beautiful sampler. And I mentioned last time that I had pulled up the image on the Fitzwilliams Museum website. So if you didn't see that, go back. I think it's one video, might be two. So it might be, let me look, it might be either video 24 or 23. But I put the link in there because you can actually zoom up to see it exactly. But I am pulling darker colors, so it's more like the back, which would have been the original. So I started working on the alphabet. I need to take out right in here. I'm not happy with how that looks. So I just quit that, and I started on the alphabet, and I think I'll go back and add in this bright green too. So that's what I'm working on right now. Dorcas Hayes is actually... I think it's called a Christmas sampler because it has the date of December 25th. So I guess it fits because it's almost Christmas. This is on 35 count linen. Just linen is the color, which I really like this color. All right, so that's what I pulled back out and I'm working on, and it's just so pretty. I'm enjoying it so much. Now, what I worked on right before the last video and then for about another week is Sarah Milthrop, and that is by Hands Across the Sea. That is another absolutely stunning sampler. It's just so pretty. Now I'm going to hold it up, and then I'm going to be frustrated with myself, and I'll point out why, but let me take a sip. I spotted it last night when I was ironing, and I thought, are you kidding me? Let's see if you can see it, and then I'll point it out. But I got the berry baskets done, the whole bottom, started doing some more on the border. Got one of these trees started. Look at that. These motifs on the top are stunning. Those berry baskets, I'm gonna zoom in. There, look at how beautiful they are. Now, here's my frustration. Look at the 1/1. This is Sarah Milthrop, not Milthorpe. I left out the M. And as I was ironing this last night, I thought, are you kidding me? Seriously, on the over 1? So here's what it is. And I was looking at it. Who knows how that happened? I don't know. And remember, we've talked about in the past that I said that in quilting I would mention to students, lay things out, step back a little bit, look at it. It's easy to find mistakes than when you're right on top of it. And I need to continue to do that advice when I'm stitching, because I think I would have caught it. So I don't know what happened, but if you take a look, looks like there's a couple extra spaces maybe between the I and the T. So what I'm hoping for is I can take out the I and the T and shift the T over and then put the I and the L. I don't want to have to take out all that over 1. That'd be horrible. I'll do it. But anyway, so I discovered that. Glad I discovered it, but here it is. And I worked on this, I think, about a week, maybe a week and a half. And again, as I mentioned last time, at least for me, and I discovered this with a lot of the quilting students too, where am I gonna put this? That often when you're working on a project, you get fatigued with the color. And so what I've learned about myself is when I'm working on something and all of a sudden it moves from being a joy to, I'm gonna work on that, I switch projects. Now when I was quilting, designing quilts, I had to stay with it because it was usually for a publication, a new design, a new fabric line, so I had to stay with it. But with stitching, I don't have those deadlines. So I worked on Sarah Milthrop a lot and was loving it. And then one day, about a week and a half after I did my video, I thought, okay, time to switch. So that's what I did. And actually, I'm going to talk about this several times or several different ways, but I pulled out Blackbird. Winter is past. I'm sorry, I got to open this up in a little crinkle. So here it is. And I decided that I was going to do it on 25 count Lugana. Here's the floss. It's all kind of messed up. Hold on. Let's get it. So let's do it like that so you can see. Look at the colors. Oh, so pretty. So I decided I'm going to do this over 1 on 25 count cream Lugana. So here's the Lugana. There's the colors. And I started working on this, and I worked on it quite a bit. So here it is. It is so pretty. Let me zoom in. Doing the over 1 on the Lugana, see if you can see, is so easy. I'm loving it, and that led me to Well, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. But there it is. Something looks wonky on the border. Hold on. No, I guess it's straight. It must just be the camera. I did have to fix one thing over there. I was off one thread. It still looks wonky. It's got to be the camera because it's straight. Oh, might be one thread off. I don't think I'm gonna fix that. Right toward the bottom. So what do? I show you the mistake. Why did we do that? But I'm loving that, and I did write, there's gonna be the date, and I did put 24 because I will finish this next year, which is soon. So I started doing that and worked on that quite a bit. And then what was interesting is I was watching the new Attic Needleworks Flosstube. And if you haven't, oh, it's good. They're always good. This one's really good. And I'll put a link to that in the description. But Jean was showing many starts, many things she was working on, starts and whips over one. And she was talking about doing the over one. She was talking about when you're on higher count linen over one, doing the tent stitch or continental stitch, which is one leg rather than two. She showed examples of that. It's fantastic. And I thought, I'm liking this over one on the Lugana. And the other thing, and I may try it on some smaller count, but right now I'm enjoying it on the Lugana. And the other thing she mentioned, which makes perfect sense. Normally I start on the left side of my linen, top left corner. I know years ago we used to mark the middle, and several of my friends still do that. Mark the middle, start in the middle, and go out. I have gotten in a habit of starting in the top left corner, but Jean mentioned starting in the top right corner because she's right-handed, and that's the way she stitches. Genius. Such a simple thing. So that's what I did here. Started in the top right corner. It just seems to flow a little easier. So just a little tweak if you're right-handed. Start in the top right corner if you like to start in the top. Give it a try and see what you think. So I enjoyed the over one, and I had to go to Hobby Lobby to pick up some Christmas wrapping or cards or something, and I thought, which this shouldn't have done it, but I thought as long as I'm going, let me pick up some DMC for some things that I have the pattern for or the chart, but I don't have the floss. Because then, of course, what happened as soon as I got it, I came home and started. I don't know. You all understand. I say it's just how it is. But this is one thing I pulled the DMC for. Not Forgotten Farm, Home Place at Christmas. Oh, this is so pretty. And here are the flosses, the DMCs. Now, this is not how I'm using them right now. I just put them on this steel ring, which I'll put the link to those too, because boy, these are handy, just so I could hold them up and show you. And I got a little start on it, and I decided I was going to do over one. And I think, where's the sticker? And I didn't write it down. Okay, I think this is 25 count Vintage Country Mocha. So what I got started, I got the berry basket, I got some of that corner. And on this one, I started on the bottom right, probably because I wanted to get in the house right away. But I've got the, let's see, berry basket here and a little bit of the house done. And I got bogged down a little bit on the house and decided to switch it up and do something else. So there it is. It's really quite pretty. So got started on that, worked on that for maybe a day. I think I love this berry basket. So got started on that. And then again, kind of just got bogged down a little bit, or just thought, So I pulled out, and I looked at my whip list, and I thought, okay, what's something that's was started a while ago that I haven't really even touched? So I pulled out Heartstring Samplery Coffee Quaker, and it says, first I drink coffee, then I do things. So there it is, and I had started that last January, and I worked on it, I think, an afternoon. Here are the colors, very autumnal colors, autumn-ish. And this is done on, I think it's 30, where's my book? It's under the pile. Oh, hold on. Let me look it up. And I'm always curious what people are doing it on, so I want to be able to tell you. It's done on 40 count R&R Stars Hollow with the called for flosses. Let me keep that handy. And I had just started a little bit, so I did pull that out. I got the rest of this done, got that done, got that little center motif, and you notice the little coffee bean needle minder. So I just got kind of that top corner working, and started on that motif. And again, I love how it's looking, and I love the color of this linen, but I just wasn't feeling it like I had been with Sarah Milthrop, and winter is past. So then I returned back to Winter is Past and worked on that some more. And then I think last night or the night before, pulled out Dorcas. So, oh, let's see, no, I didn't work on that, but I wanted to show you that. So that's what oh no, there's one more. There's two more I have to show you. That's what I've been working on. It's all over the place, which is fine, because it's all getting some work done. I just have to work on what I feel like working on. So that's just how it is. I did have one question, and this is, again, it's like, are you kidding me? So it was a great comment on the last Flosstube. This is one of the things I was working on. It's the Primitive Hair Stitchers Sampler, and it says, my soul is fed with needle and thread. And it's got bees on it. Here's the cover. But look at the verse. It's charted this way. Now, the Primitive Hair, I love their stuff. I believe it's an Italian company, so it could have been a mistranslation. But what the sampler says, and I'm just mentioning that because if you're working on this, watch this spot. It says, my soul is fed, but it says feed. Let's see, you see that? So that's something else I'm gonna have to fix. Now the decision is, do I take out the little e and move everything over? Do I take out the big E and move the D over? I looked at that again. It was one of those, are you kidding me? How did I not catch that? Probably because I was just looking at the chart and just stitching along. But I do love the motifs of this, and I love the linen. This is the Primitive Hair linen. I think it's 40 count. Yes, 40 count Old Massachusetts, and then using Garden Gate as the color. I just think it's gorgeous. So who knows? I might just leave it. I probably won't, but I might. I don't know. So I wanted to show you that. So if you're working on that, just make yourself a note. And do you remember when I said I went to Hobby Lobby, picked up some DMC, which I did, because I wanted to kit. I already had the linen, but I wanted to get the floss for Esther by Kathy Barrick. And it's kitted for NPI silk or DMC. So I chose to do the DMC. Here it is, that gorgeous colors. And I got just a little start on it. If you remember, it's probably when I came back from Hobby House. Susan, and she's on Instagram. Where's my pen? I'm gonna make a note to link to that. She had the most beautiful work that she shared. And I think her Instagram is She Sews, but I will link to it because she had such unique projects. And she had done Esther on Murky. It was stunning. So I got some Murky and I started, and this is 36 count Murky. Let me show you again. So I got a start, and I started in the bottom right corner. And I started where the darker area was because I wanted the white really to show up. And I know you're probably thinking, why did you use Murky? You need to go look at Susan's Esther. It's stunning. I don't like where I started. The green disappears. So this is a big piece of Murky. So I could, see, I started way down there at the bottom. I could maybe move it up here. I don't know. Now I'm trying to decide what to do because hers was so stunning. So I'm evaluating what to do there. And as I was looking through my linen, I did find this. This is 32 count, which is going to make it bigger. But this is Antique. It's just the name of it's Antique. I thought, oh, this is pretty. That actually might be a good substitute. So now I have to decide what to do. So I didn't work anymore on that because I just wasn't happy with where I selected to start. So now I'm rethinking because hers was so beautiful. It just was stunning. So I'm kind of rethinking what to do. And you can see on the chart, it's done on more of a yellow. So that's why I kind of pulled this. And I thought, but 32 count, how big's that gonna make it? I'm gonna have to do the calculator on that. So anyway, that's just kind of paused for right now, all in its project Ziploc bag till I decide what to do. So those are the things that I worked on. Let's see. And I've got some haul to show you. And then at the very end, I have some presents for you, some gifts, so which we'll talk about. So while I was at Hobby Lobby, let me back up. Forget the Hobby Lobby. I purchased these pony needles, I think online, which I love. I really love them. You can see I've used most of the 28. They're a little shorter. They're not as short as petites, but I really like using them, and I can't find them, or any source I can find are overseas. So when I was at Hobby Lobby, and these have to be the same manufacturer just because they're both made in India. But look what I found, and I've already taken it off there. Look what I found. So I bought them, and I'm using them, and I like them. So I looked, they're both made in India, so that's my guess, is that they're made at the same company, same factory, just labeled for Singer. You know, that happens. Sewing machines, you remember Sears, a long time ago, we would buy sewing, at least my first sewing machine in 73, 74? I bought it, must have been 75, because I used my graduation money from high school to purchase my first sewing machine, and it was a Kenmore, which it was another maker, and I don't remember now who actually made it, but was a Kenmore machine, which I sewed all kinds of stuff on that. So I did want to show you that if you like the pony needles and can't find them, give this a try. Just the Singer assorted tapestry needles that have the eye. Let's take it off there. Different colors, which also that color on the eye makes it easier to thread it. So I do have some haul, and what was fun is this morning, well, normally our mail comes about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had placed a big 1, 2, 3 stitch order. I picked up a chart, got the floss for it, pulled the floss for a couple, at least one other chart, ordered a bunch of 25 count Lugana, because I didn't have but maybe 1 or 2 pieces. And I thought, well, I want to tape this morning, but our mail doesn't come till 3, so I guess I'll just talk about it next time. And it came this morning. It was on the front porch like at 8:30, and I thought, that's a sign. Tape right now. So I'll show you what came today, and then I have some other things that came along the way, and then we'll talk about some things I'm thinking about starting. But this is one that came today. Actually, this came, I ordered it from, was it Farmer's Attic on Etsy. It's a pre-order from Market. It's Plums, not Market, it's just one that's just been released. Plum Street New World Sampler. I guess it was a retreat piece last year, and now it's released. So it calls for 36 count hog bristle, which I think I have. And I'm thinking when I finish Live on Little, I might start this next. So I ordered the floss. So there it is. It calls for a combination of a few Classic Colorworks weeks and then DMC. So lots of colors. I haven't pulled the linen for that, but my floss is all set. And then I ordered this. My friend Gail is working on this, Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. And Gail is doing it on, I think she's doing it on 25 count Lugana over 1. It's stunning. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna order this because I could maybe do this over 1 as well. Here's the colors. It's mostly DMC with some weeks. And a couple of them need 2, but it'll say that on the pattern. Or 3, actually. Dolphin needs 3. That's that blue. Where's all the blue? Oh, it's in the house. Oh, the blue's lots of places. And I did, let's see, it's called for 35 count tin roof, but I think I'm going to do it on, did I say 25? It's 35 count tin roof, but I think I'm going to do it on one of the Luganas. Look at this one that I got today. This is 25 count natural oatmeal. That's one option. Look at that. Then there's this one, which is 25 count light taupe Lugana. Oh, that's nice. So I haven't decided what to use yet, but I do kind of like. Okay, that I think that's what it's going to be, light taupe. So I did get that. So that's ready when I want to start. And then one of the other things I kitted when I was at Hobby Lobby last weekend is I pulled this from my charts, my big chart basket, and it is Plum Street, This Joyous Season. And it says, repeat the sounding joy. And I decided to kit it with DMC. It calls for either DMC or a combination of weeks, but I decided to do all DMC. So there it is. I haven't picked linen yet, but I'm wondering if this is a candidate for 25 count over 1. I don't know. There's a lot there. It calls for 36 count up in the attic, so that's yet to be determined what I'll do with that. But I do have all the floss. I'm going to tuck that in here so I don't mix everything up, which I'm afraid I'm already going to do. And then a few things that came that I ordered over the last 3 weeks. At Home, Brenda Juve, which calls for 36 count vintage country mocha, which I haven't decided what to do on that, but I think I'm going to order the Vicky Clayton silk pack for that. I haven't ordered it yet, but I have a little note to myself to order that. It's just so gorgeous. Look at the colors. So I don't know when I'm going to start on that, but I think I'm going to get the silk and put it in there, and so I'll be all set. Then last time I showed you the Sarah Clark, Norfolk Needle Art, Sarah Clark, 1789. And I did order the silk pack for that. But I wanted to show you, I ordered a couple more, but I wanted to show you how beautifully presented these are when you order. It's Norfolk Needle Art. I did order this one, Hannah Killington, 1823. Yeah, you back up so you can see it. And it's in this nice plastic, all pristine, and then there's a card that you could put on the back after you frame it, and look at how beautiful the thread legend is. This one has a listing for a Veriswa 100 or 103 or DMC. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet, but I ordered that one, and it just came the other day. And this one, I guess it's all Hannah all the time. This is Hannah Grapes, age 13. Look at how beautifully bright those colors are. And then again, a beautiful thread legend on the back. But I wanted to show you, I was so impressed with the quality of the booklet. It has, again, a card. It says, "We hope Sarah Clark brings you many hours of stitching pleasure." That you could use a bookmark, you could put on the back of the frame, but it has the history of it, and it's several pages of the history of this type of sampler, what they know about Sarah, the different motifs. See, Sarah stitched a different motto in each one of the 2 unusual half medallions situated on either side of the central arcade. The words on the left make use of the biblical imagery of the jewel, declaring virtue is the jewel of the soul. On the right, the words are admit nothing that is good, a line taken from Sermon 9 in 32 Sermons on Plain and Practical Subjects by the late Reverend Thomas Pyle, 1674 to 1756. He was Norfolk born minister of St. Nicholas Chapel, and it goes on to give you more of the history. That's just one little bit. And then there's more history, there's directions. The colors were taken from the back, so they're going to be brighter. The front were subdued. And Sarah did hers on 56 count. I haven't pulled linen for that yet. It has stitch diagrams, the thread legend. Let's see, I think I can show you this part there. The thread legend, the different sizes if you want to make it with different count linen. It goes from 30 count up to 56. Then it has a close-up Absolutely stunning. And then we get into the chart. So I was just so impressed with this. It's 29 pages. There is a little bit of over 1 in here. But here's the colors. So I was excited to get that and wanted to share how beautiful this booklet is. So, and all the booklets I got are the same. They're just beautifully done. So if that's a newer company to you, I wanted to share that with you. And a little hint or a little help, this looks weird, but when I was doing, when I'm doing some of the more intricate samplers or even something with more pages, I don't use it with everything, but this is years ago I bought this. It's a stand that you can put next to your typewriter or computer when you're writing, and you can put your pages on there. So I just set this next to me when I'm stitching. So I just wanted to share that. I bought it at an office store years ago, years and years and years ago. So the last little bit that I wanted to show you, I do have, let me show you that linen, and then I was thinking about what I'm going to do next, besides work on my whips, and what I want to do, continue more over 1, because once I finish Winter is Past, I want to start something else. So I wanted to show you, first of all, some of the linen. Most of it's 25 count Lugana. So this is the light taupe we just looked at, and I'm going to put the vintage country mocha next to it, which is a 40 count, but just so you can see the different color. So here's the taupe. That I think I'm going to use with land that I love. Then there's this one, which is 25 count natural oatmeal. Now this one, I don't have my glasses on. I was going to say I think the Lugana is a little easier to see, but I think it's the same. But I like this oatmeal. It's got kind of a little more homespun looking. So there it is next to the vintage country mocha. Then there's, tried to get a variety. This is potato, 25 count Lugana. Here it is next to the vintage country mocha. You can see it's very light. It's a not white, but it's kind of a cream, very light cream. Then this one is mushroom, 25 count mushroom Lugana. So that's very close in color to vintage country mocha. That might be another good one for land that I love. I'll have to look at that. And this is 25 count ivory. Here's the ivory, here's the potato. Ivory, potato, you can see ivory's just a little bit more brown. And then here's the ivory next to the vintage country mocha. Let's see, mushroom, we looked at that. And then the last piece I got is 28 count Lugana. And it doesn't give a color. Here it is next to vintage country mocha. I think it's called Legacy. I just thought the color was really nice, and it has a little bit of variation on it. So I liked that a lot. And then the last piece I got is 25 count smoky white Lugana. Now this is printed just like Stormy Night and vintage country mocha. So it's not over dyed, it's printed, which means the holes will be a little bigger. Sometimes when you over dye, I think it's in the process of the dyeing, sometimes the holes can shrink up a little bit. So I thought, well, that's a pretty one. Wonder how Esther would look on that. No, Esther's not going to look good on that because it's white and it's a white sheep, so never mind. So that's the nice little selection of Lugana I got. So now when I want to start something over 1, I have some selections. And so I decided to pull some things that I'm thinking about doing over 1 on. Thinking, not saying I am for sure. but just kind of pondering what would be good. And of course, let me do it this way. So the first thing I did is pull some Blackbird. This is in Friendship's Way. And I thought that might be an option. Let me see if I can find it. It's on a box. Let's see if I do. But I thought that might be a nice little pillow. Is this it? No. Wait a minute. All right, this is also called Winter is Past. Which I wonder if that's the motif from Winter is Past. I have to look at that. Can I reach it? Oh. No, they're different. Okay, here's the basket with the flower and Winter is Past. This one's a little different. Let me turn it. I thought that might be nice over one. So this book actually has several. And then there's a bunch of strawberries. And I thought, well, that might be another option. So In Friendship's Way is one book that has several options. This is another, Sweet Land of Liberty. I'm looking at that one for the over one. Maybe that one. I don't know, there's a couple pillows in here. Let me see if I can find it quickly. This is In Full Glory. That might be fun over one. That wasn't very good. I can show it like that. I like that a lot. And it's showing it as a pillow. So there's several options in there. Look at this. And then Agnes Platt's Strawberry Sampler. I don't know if I want to do that over one, but that's this. I love that, but I was thinking maybe that over one. But as I was pulling things, maybe for my next over one, then of course I started finding things like, why haven't I started this? So I'll show you some of those. And that's one of those. Why haven't I started this? I love that. And then this is kind of a companion color-wise to Winter is Past. This is Loose Feathers series for the birds. And I don't know about over one. But I thought, well, maybe a couple of them over one. Because they do kind of go with Winter is Past. These are the different 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But color-wise, they're... Oh, I like that one. I like all of them. So these 1 through 9, Loose Feathers for the birds. I love that one. Sucker for a House. So, well, that might be a candidate for over one, or just start. This one I thought would be a good over one possibility. And I'm saying that, but you don't have to do it over one. Souvenirs of the Heart, Star Spangled Spectacular by Brenda with the needle and thread. And I got this as a kit, which is 28 count, which I thought, oh, I could do that over one if I decide to. I'm going to see if there's any. Okay, it's the Lugana, but it is not. This is done over one. Okay, yay, this is done on 28 count mushroom Lugana, 1 over 1. Where are the colors? I don't have the colors in here. All right, I don't know if I can get the colors without. Okay, the colors are Gentle Arts. Oh, I think they came with the colors and I pulled them out when I was in a frenzy of unkidding. You ever do stuff like that and then, oh, that wasn't very good. But it is Weeks and Gentle Arts. All right, so now it means I'm gonna have to pull that out. I might pull that out, and since I've got the linen, and it's 1/1. So that, I'm gonna put that at the top of the pile there. And then I thought, well, this one's another one by Brenda Juvet, and it is, I can't tell if it's 1/1 or 1/2. Oh, it's 1/2 because it's 40 count. But it is Coffee First. And I thought, well, that might be a fun one to do over one, or just do in general, because now I've shifted as I was going through everything, like, I want to start that. I want to start that. I'm going to have to live to be 1,000,000 years old. Oh, what is the old saying? Can't die till your stash is gone, so I'll live forever, or something like that. Now, this one I started, and I didn't like it, and I pulled it out. But I like the design. This is Stone Street Stitchworks Cobblestone Crossing, and it's an older pattern, but I love that. The lights, the little houses, the flame, and it is done on 32 count, which I started it, let's see, and I started it on 32 count caramel macchiato, but I had to use 2 strands, and we've talked about that. I don't like 2 strands. So I thought, you know what? This doesn't have that many colors. Let's see, why are there 2 blacks? Well, there's a lot of black in there. All right, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, and that's it. I'll hold them up. And if any of you have been watching Brenda and her flower thread, I thought, okay, Brenda, I'm gonna pull the flower thread for this because I think that would be perfect. So thank you for that inspiration. So there's the colors. I have the linen. There it is. So I think that might be another one I start. I know it's Christmas, and Christmas is almost here and then over, but I might start that one. And then as I was pulling through my things, I think we're going to shift into from looking for over one things to just, why haven't I started this? So I'll show you a few of those. Some are kitted, some are just the chart. This is La Di Da, Love Abide. And it says, in our home, let love abide and bless all those who step inside. I don't have this kitted, I just love it. It reminds me a little bit of the drawn thread that I did with the houses and the tree and the verse, but I love that. So I'm not sure what it calls for. 36 count, 1/2. It's a pretty good size. 254 by 246. I won't do that over one, but I just love that. So that's another one. Might have to come to the top of the Start Me Next. And then this one, again by Brenda Juvet. Boy, I've pulled a lot of hers. I might have to get started on some of those. This is Keeper of the Pins, all these beautiful pin cushions. And here is My Soul is Fed with Needle and Thread as a pin cushion. And the tomatoes, oh, look how cute. Look at the little tomatoes. And what is there, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, look at the beautiful photographs. There's a sewing bird. There's My Soul is Fed. The tomatoes. Okay, I can show it like this. Look at that. Those I might just have to start. And then there's Dame of the Needle. So, you know, you get things when you see them, so you can get them, and then at least then I forget about them sometimes. So going through that big basket, I have a big basket of things that are charted and a big basket of charts. This was the charts. This I liked so much I ended up buying 2. Brick House Sampler by Brenda Juvet. Again, beautiful. Just classic, beautiful. This one is done on 28 count. Wonder if that's 1/1. I'm gonna have to look. I just love it. I don't have anything pulled yet. Looks like it's combination of, oh, it's mushroom, 28 mushroom Lugana. It's Week Dye Works, Gentle Arts, Classic Color Works. Yeah, that might be one that goes to the top. And there's another one. I don't have it kitted. I saw this. Oh, who did this? It was on one of Brenda and Laura's videos a while ago. Was it Bridget that did it? Oh, I cannot remember. If you remember, put it in the comments. Owl Forest Embroidery New Year Sampler. Absolutely stunning. And it was when they were with a group in Arizona and did a floss tube, and they were doing show and tell, and should have written it down when I saw it and put it, a sticky note on the chart so I'd remember who I saw the inspiration from. But if you remember, write it in the comments. But look at the colors. This is just stunning. And one thing with these little motifs, you feel like you've had a little success when you get one done before you move on the next one. And there's coffee in here, there's Father Christmas, there's initials, there's motifs, oh, there's a mushroom, just all kinds of stuff. Look at that. So this is New Year Sampler by Owl Forest, and I probably won't start this right away. It's pretty big, and I thought it'd be fun to start a New Year's, but we're going to be traveling a lot, so I don't do well stitching in the car, so I'll probably knit. So I don't know how much stitching I'll get done in the next month or so, but we'll see. Here's another one, and what am I doing? I'm showing you all this stuff I want to start now. It's crazy. This is Scarlet House, and I think this was a retreat piece that's available now, a sampler for all seasons. And then there's a pin keep, and it says, when the weather is hot, rainy, or cold, I look at my chart and stitch as I'm told. The wind may howl, raindrops may fall in my own world and safe from it all. With colors of thread from every hue, it makes me happy. This much is true. So it is got the thread legend for Classic Color Works or DMC or MPI Silk. So I haven't pulled anything. This one's done on 40 count Steinbeck. I might have some of that. It looks like the model was done in Classic Color Works, but there are conversions for DMC and NPI. So 1/2, yeah. So might pull the Classic Color Works for that too. A couple more, and then we'll be done. This is one of those, it's like, yeah, let me do this one first, and I'll show you that one. So I've kitted this. It's all set. Merry Christmas Wishes by Kathy Barrick. And I could not find the Broadway color it called for, so I found this when I was at Cecilia's this summer. This is Atomic Ranch, 36 count for Firenze. It's Italian for Florence. F-R-I-E-Z-E. And look at the colors. It's just so pretty. And then I've pulled Gloriana and Belsois for the colors. I should start that. Let me show you the cover so you can see the name. Atomic Ranch. So that one's all set to go. I just need to start it. And then I was looking in that basket this morning and found one that was kitted. And I thought, for crying out loud, I got half a yard of 40 count straw in here. I either need to get started on it or pull it out of there. But this one is C.A. Hare 1834 by Shakespeare's Peddler. And I just love the colors of this. I think the reason I haven't started it is it's charted for DMC or weeks and sampler threads. And I pulled the DMC and I don't have all the colors. So there are the colors and I pulled them, but I'm missing some. And then I also am not sure I like the colors on the straw. So that's going to be one that, at least for me, I do best if I pull the floss first. Then if I can't find the called for linen, then I can lay the floss on the linen and see, rather than the linen first. That's just how it works a little better for me. But yeah, there's a couple gorgeous blues in there, which I didn't pull. I mean, all I have is that. I don't know. I was looking at it this morning and I thought, all right, there's all kind of issues with this kit. Mostly as I don't have the right colors. So I need to pull those first. So, and it's called for 40 count morning coffee, which I think the straw would be a good option, but I don't know. So I may just pull, next time I am at a shop or placing an order, I might just pull this out and get the threads and then go from there. Because I do have linen now, a nice selection that I can pull from. So I think that's it of all of my things to show you. I do have two things that I'm calling them gifts to you. They're things that you can click on and look at, but one is my mother's cinnamon roll recipe. It's from the 1940s. It's a family recipe that we only make we only make at Christmas because they're so good. You'll eat the whole pan, and it makes quite a bit. I shared this on my Quilters newsletter back in 2020, and a lot of people, of course, were still home, and a lot of people made it for their families. I think it was one of the newsletters I get the most comments back from. But I did have some questions because it's a family recipe, which means, well, first of all, there's nothing healthy in it. But don't try to make it healthy. Just make it just like it calls for, because it's delicious. That's why we make it once a year, and then we're done. And I couldn't really tell the people that ask how many it makes, because it's a recipe she converted from when she worked at a diner in a little town in Michigan when she was in high school. We just get a bunch of pans out, and it also depends on how thick you make them. You're going to get more if you slice them thinner and less if you slice them thicker. So it's really hard to tell you that. So this is what I did, and this is my gift to you, because you're thinking, where's the recipe? I'm going to put a link in the description. I made a video making the cinnamon rolls. So if you've never baked, or you read the recipe in the description of the video and you think, what's that mean? Answered in the video. So one of my little gifts to you is a link to my mother's cinnamon roll recipe. And normally we make them and give out to friends and make them for Christmas morning. I now have to be gluten-free, and I've been that way for 4 years now. So that just sucks the life out of a lot of stuff. But I have figured out some conversions for different flours. Haven't done it for this recipe yet, but they'll just be the normal flour. I think it's all purpose. I don't know. Check the recipe. But we always made it on Christmas morning. So that's one little gift to you. The other gift is something I found, and I believe it's called Radio Garden. I'm going to put a link in the description. And what it is it's a website you can go to. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. You can do it on your iPad, device, whatever. And there's a map of the world. And you can go and listen to a radio station anywhere there is one. There'll be a little dot so you can zoom in on that and click it and actually listen to the broadcast. I had a blast listening to all different broadcasts in Scotland the other day. So it's all over the world. So that's another little gift to you that I just enjoyed so much and I wanted to share with you. So I think that's it. This was a little longer one, but had a lot to share with you, and it's going to be a little while before I come back, so we're going to be really busy traveling and doing some other things in January. I'm not going to Sampler Symposium. I wish I was. Several people asked me. I had a blast at the one in this January, but not going next year, which is really just in a few weeks. Wish I was, but I'll be looking forward to seeing everyone's kits that they get, the different projects. So I won't be back till February. Not sure when. It might be toward the middle. So who knows what I'll have worked on. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm wishing you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, a very Happy New Year. And until I come back, until we meet again, I'm going to wish you good health. Thank you for all your support. This is video 25. When I started about a year and a couple of months ago, I never dreamed that I'd be friends with all you guys. I just love it. And there's my Michigan coming out, you guys. But wishing you good health, a very happy New Year coming up. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye, everyone.